That right.
All right, and it looks like we are officially underway. We've got a sword and sank and a map of, was it desert?
I believe so. I gotta admit, I didn't perfectly pay attention there.
But that was in Link's house, and I'm sure we'll see it again shortly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a spot they definitely don't want to
Dark.
miss out.
Okay.
Ooh,
So-
okay.
Pod. I saw a D and I saw Palace, and I was like, okay.
Close enough. Interesting to see the immediate flipperless hooligan room from fcoughlin here.
Yeah.
I think this has fallen a little bit out of favor with most runners lately.
Well, it has an open mode, but the thing is, Keysanity, this is actually a good call in my opinion, because so many of the chests and things that you would think are like 300 rupees and stuff are going to get replaced with stuff you care about.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And also, Problems is doing something here. So like in Keysanity, I like to just go to the race game and not even check it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only when I come in from the top. He's coming in from the bottom, so he's got someplace else to go if that's not the case. And it's actually a map, which he's going to pick up for the information purposes. And it's the map of Hyrule Castle.
That's a pretty convenient find right there, I'd say.
Yeah, if you like completely useless items.
Oh, come on. We also, I'm not sure if you mentioned that, you probably did, but we've also already got a sword for these guys, at least for 3 of them. Problems not checking the sank chest yet.
Mm-hmm. I keep thinking this is also entrance randomizer, so I keep wondering what's going to be in places.
I'm glad that's not until Sunday. That's going to be a whole different beast from this coupling Keysanity with entrance randomizer. I expect insanity for that. Not the insanity mode, mind you, but just general insanity.
So Problems picking up bombs in the bombable hut. And we have a Dark Palace small key, which I didn't notice a minute ago in the thieves' hideout.
So, as you were saying earlier, with all the money that fcoughlin got out of that hooligan room, he was able to buy bombs and pay off the bottle merchant, and he's still, well, not with what AA just found, not anymore, but still in the rupee lead.
So rupees acquired. The well here has just some money and some love.
Yeah, not what we're looking for here. Do you think maybe we should explain a little bit about what Keysanity is in general for people who are only familiar with the vanilla rando from the tournament, maybe?
Perhaps. The Keysanity mode takes all the dungeon items, the maps, the compasses, the big keys, and the small keys, and shuffles them into the pool everywhere else, along with everything else. So, you're going to have to go find those items before you can clear out dungeons. We got the big key of Skullwoods, which unlocks exactly one thing, and that is the big chest of Skullwoods. So there are a lot of little strategies you can find. Oh, the flute is there too.
That's some pretty good stuff here.
So everybody get your swag ducks out. I'm not gonna do an anthem today. There's too much action to keep track of for that.
Yeah, with 4 people, it's a little bit more chaotic than what we're used to from the tournament. Alright, so all of these guys, not too far apart. I think right now fcoughlin has, at least he's the first one to leave the Kakariko area, but he hasn't checked the Lost Woods yet, so these guys really not too far apart yet. I mean, only 5 minutes and 30 seconds in, you don't expect massive route divergence here already, but still interesting to see how well these guys are keeping up with each other.
Right. So there are in the vanilla randomizer, you develop a few things, a few pieces of knowledge that you like to have. For example, you know how many items each dungeon has, right? And you use that to your advantage. Well, in Keysanity, there's a whole nother set of knowledge that's helpful. For example, how many keys do I need to find before this dungeon is viable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Palace of Darkness, which, Problems just picked up the key for, that has 6 small keys in chests. So those are going to be all out in the world, and you need at least 5 of them, 4 if you can hammer jump, to get through Palace of Darkness in one piece, or in one go.
Yep. And also, just to make sure...
the hammer!
Oh man, that's a huge find in the dam here. Meanwhile, Problems deciding to check the back of his cape. Grabs a small key and a red goo. I'm so not used to seeing a text box with small keys that I didn't even realize what that small key was for.
Yep, when you pick up a small key for the location you're in, it doesn't make a text box appear. And that can throw you off a bit.
Flippers and Master Sword here in the mini Moldarm cave.
Nice. I believe there actually is a tracker in the works for key counts. It's just not been implemented just yet.
Yeah, this mode is a new addition with the latest update of Rando to version 27, which has been out for a little while, but it's still relatively new, and these are really the first, except for that one show match that we had between, I believe, Billard and Saku, maybe, I want to say? Yeah. These guys showed off a show match before of Keysanity, but these are really the first broadcast races of regularly broadcast races, I should say. So if a tracker is in the works, you seem to have more information than I do. I'm sure it'll show up very soon.
So, just saying, Keysanity tournament when?
It's really just a matter of time, I feel like. But another little piece of information to add here. These guys can, of course, also see which keys they found in their menus. I'm not sure if you've spotted it before, I'm sure you have, but if these guys start menuing, they have the big keys are marked by a check mark, and the small keys are obviously marked by their count, and the dungeons are marked by their numbers as they appear in their vanilla order.
Right. So, you can always tell what you have. Now, I believe a couple of updates here. We have found the big key to Thieves Town. That's in Hobo, and we just found a small key to Desert in the Ice Rod Cave. So that opens quite a bit once you can actually get into Desert.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's the Moon
Pearl has happened.
Alright, so that's Dark World access. That means these guys have successfully dodged the AGA 1. But Another interesting thing about Keysanity is you can't really discount or count out those chests in the Aga Tower, because they could also have keys that you might need.
Yep. Or just plain items. Once you have the traditional access, that is the Master Sword or the Cape, the very first chest in Aga Tower is completely accessible. You don't even need the lamp for it, because there's no dark rooms between here and there. The second one requires the lamp. But I believe that second chest is as far as we'll have to go, so you'll only need one Aga Tower key maximum.
Yep.
And problems checking the sick kid, but just getting a piece of heart.
Meanwhile, Sin checking the Ice Rod Cave. I don't believe we've seen anyone else check it.
Yeah, that was the small key to desert.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
And there's a piece of heart in the dungeon chest. Yeah. I believe what was in the tree today was just a map of some kind, and I think we're going to leave that behind, even though, you know, the knowledge is important. Oh, we haven't even mentioned what the maps do.
Oh, you're right, the maps and the compasses.
So the maps and compasses, they do something now in Keysanity mode. So the maps will tell, if you check your map at the beginning of the game in Keysanity mode, you will note a lack of icons. And that's because you don't get to know if there are crystals or pendants in the dungeons unless you have the map. Or you complete the dungeon.
Yep. The music is not something you can rely on anymore.
So, and Problems, as we can see, is actually going to go check that first chest in Aga Tower. Just kind of as part of the escape plan, you know?
Yeah, I like this. As I said earlier, it's really something that usually the runners try to avoid like the plague. But here, it can be extremely important.
Also, the compasses do have an effect, but it's really only useful for, you know, casual play, in that when you have the compass, it will give you a counter of the number of items that you have in that dungeon while you're there. So you'll see that on the top of the screen.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see that in at least one
Fred
or two.
finds the tempered sword in Skull Woods.
And we saw Problems pick up a small key for Skullwoods in that one Aga Tower key chest.
Yep. And once again, Fred Coughlin finds the Ganon's Tower key in Skull Woods. So there's keys everywhere.
Keys all over the world. That's kind of the motto here. Alright, so Sin about to pick up his Moon Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well. Open the big chest and find a compass to Misery Mire. That's gotta feel bad.
Yeah, that's less than ideal, but, you know, it's good to get things out of the way. So the other thing about Keysanity is, because the keys are all mixed up in the world, you no longer have any idea how many useful items are in any dungeon. And so you end up full clearing most dungeons as you go through them. And I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically all the dungeon, like the item counts that you've learned from the tournament or maybe from playing yourself, You know, Skullwoods usually has 2 items, Eastern Palace has 3, all that stuff. You can pretty much throw all that out the window for Keysanity.
Indeed. That's why the key counts are much more important.
So Hype Cave has a Hype Net and 2 compasses. Not sure I'd really call that a Hype Cave.
I mean, unless you really like the bug net. The other thing about Keysanity is it does actually make the likelihood of every single location in the world being required a little higher.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that includes everybody's favorite place that is your least favorite place.
I know. Just can't get away from that darned pedestal.
It looks like we had the Turtle Rock Big Key, I think, in the Sea House.
That was indeed the Turtle Rock Big Key.
And just bombs down there in the Dark World Bomb Hut. What does Alec Baldwin have for us today? We've got a certain number of digs between 1 and 30, and we'll find an item. It's a map of Misery Mire.
On the Titansmiths in the chest game for Fred Coughlin here.
Oh boy.
That's a really big find.
Yeah, Titansmiths are always one of those items that's super important. And Fred Coughlin going into Thieves Town. I believe he picked up the big key already, so all we're missing is the small one. And there's the big key to Ice Palace. So another thing about the Keysanity seeds is we don't really do the Ganon's Tower big key guessing game. Because if we did that, we'd have to start at the beginning and the numbers would be between 1 and 211.
Is it 211?
Yeah, there's 216 locations, 5 of them are inaccessible without the Ganon's Tower big key.
Oh, yeah, makes perfect sense. Alright guys, so get your guesses in. It's a number between, as Dr. Bob just said, 1 and 211. I'm sure we'll totally remember this.
We're absolutely counting all of these. Well, there was a key to Ganon's Tower. I don't think it was the big one, though.
No, I think we've already found 2 small keys to Ganon's Tower.
Yep. One was in Skullwoods, and one is at Mr. J.R. Stumpsman over there.
Stumpy McStumperton.
Yeah, if the location was 404, there's a problem. Because then we wouldn't find it.
Oh, come on. Please, Dr. Bob. I know we work in the same fields and we're horrible nerds, but really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I came up with the worst joke the other day. The worst one. So how do we know that the wise men took the most efficient route to go see the baby Jesus?
I can't wait for this one.
Because they were guided by A star.
Oh god, please.
And that is a joke for all of the nerds out there.
Oh man.
So enough of that. Back to the race.
Looks like Chad approves or disapproves. Another small key for Skullwoods here in Thieves Town.
Yeah, sorry, that was a complete waste of everyone's time. Alright, so... back to the race. We've seen a lot of the things that we're seeing right now, except for Fred Coughlin's trip into Thieves Town. So that's where my eyes are focused right now.
Yeah, Yeah, we see most of our other runners here, or all of the other runners, making their way into or through Skull Woods, picking up their Tempered Sword, checking out all the other chests that they can reach.
Yeah, Skull Woods, the Skull Woods value play, that's sort of a meme from the open mode, but it's alive and well in Keysanity, really, because it's like Sphere 1.
Yeah. So that was a big key to Eastern. I must have missed that one earlier.
Yep. So, Fred Coughlin with the blind fight here.
I'm not sure if he found a map to this place. If he did, he definitely didn't do a map check beforehand, so I'm just gonna assume this is a crystal dungeon.
Could be. Yeah. So we've got a small key to Misery Mire on blind plus a crystal.
Yep, so that's our first crystal here.
Yeah. Odds are if you blind clear a dungeon, it's going to be a crystal. There's only 3 pendants and 7 crystals. You're in good shape there, and especially when it's Thieves Town, which is so very easily completable. Now, I don't believe we had the second, like the small key to Thieves Town. So
yeah,
the big chest is still at large.
Yeah, despite having the hammer, I don't think Fred was able to reach it yet because missing that key, as you say. Fred taking the old age and the eye, despite already finding the map that he needs here, saying hi to us all.
Yep. And you get a few rupees there. It's not completely useless.
Even with the proper capitalization, what a good man.
I mean, so is Keysanity hard to play? I mean, it's no harder to play than the normal game. It just may take you longer because you got to go looking for everything all over the place.
Yeah, all I'm going to say to that is that my very first Keysanity seed had a required Ice Palace small key on the pedestal, and then I was 1 small key short in Turtle Rock and had to go all the way back out and find that thing.
Oh boy. Yeah. I do always like to acknowledge the fact that there are some people who play randomizers without intending to speedrun. They just play them. And so, for those of you out there who are just looking to have a good time, I recommend it.
Yeah, I think if you have any interest in rando or have played normal and quote-unquote normal randos before, I would definitely at least casually give a Keysanity seed a try, just for the experience, really. Maybe don't start your rando career on a Keysanity seed. That might be a little bit counterproductive. But if you're interested at all, just generate yourself a seed and go at it. Doesn't matter if it takes you 5 or 6 hours.
I was wondering about how you had a required Ice Palace small key.
I forgot the exact go about of it. I think, and I needed it to get to an item that I was missing or something.
Yeah, that's entirely possible, I think.
It's been a while, admittedly, since I played that first seed. I just remember it had a small key for Ice Palace on the pedestal that I eventually needed to grab. And what stuck in my mind a little more was standing in front of that last Turtle Rock small key door and not being able to go through.
Yep. A lot of people are used to little bit of frustration, you know, just going to get the go to the laser bridge, and they think, "Whoa, man, why do I have to go to the laser bridge?" Well, now you have to go to the laser bridge and then some.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to skip out on anything at all.
So I didn't mention the Quake medallion, which was picked up. That's also a potentially important item. We don't know what is required to get into Misery Mire Turtle Rock right now, but it could be Quake, so you never know. Let's see, the number of runners, I think we're around 30, like 33-ish.
Yeah, around that, I think.
I could just go look it up. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm scrolling up right now. I think we're at exactly 30.
Looks like 29. According to the Speedruns Live website.
Yeah, okay. Maybe someone unentered. Oh yeah, of course they did. Job left.
Alright, so Fred's now checking Hype Cave, which we've seen already, and AA is heading to the Misery Mire area. So we can see what's over here.
Yeah, with Flute and Mitts, you find some new items or potential items. You get that information which medallion is required, which I sadly couldn't see at all.
It looked like Bombos to me. Looked like the Bombos medallion was required for Misery Mire, and we've got a small key to Hyrule Castle.
And apparently AA was talking to Sahasrara, who told him that the green pendant is in Tower of Hera.
Ah.
And it looks like Fred is maybe getting the hint from the bomb vendor here.
So Ice Palace was one of them. What was the other one?
Thieves Town, which is a crystal Fred already has.
All right. And with those Titan's mitts and the hammer, I mean, Ice Palace is theoretically in play. And the flippers, of course. Oh, but he needs Fire Source. That's right. We gotta light things on fire.
That's a very nice find.
Alright, so let's see what is in the purple chest today. It is a bomb upgrade.
Nah, not worth.
Nope. Unless some complete sadist designed your seed where you need 40 bombs to kill Vitreous, you don't need that many bombs. Shoutouts to AA.
Where? Oh, okay, never mind. Why is AA taken this way, is what I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Just wanted to take the scenic route. I can't blame him. I really love the Lost Woods theme, and we hear it entirely too little in all of the randos.
It is good music. Kind of wish they'd put in sort of a remix of it into one of the later games.
Yeah, me too. I really like that. I remember one of our secondary restreamers has or had the orchestrated soundtrack, and that song sounded really good, fully orchestrated.
Oh yeah, that was Alvi.
Yeah, Alvi, exactly.
All right, so let's see what's on the bumper cave. It's some bombs.
Just some bombs. Have we seen an EP dip before? I think Fred is the first one in here, isn't he?
Ah, that does make sense, and I believe we just picked up the Ice Rod. So we have the blue rod for Fred Coughlin, and that's gonna, put Trinex in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was it a fire rod? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes on the restream, but I think it was an ice rod.
It looked like ice to me, and there's the bow!
Oh, man.
The bow in Vanilla Eastern Palace. It's not its actual vanilla location, but it's close enough.
According to the chat, it was indeed the fire rod.
Really? How did that look like ice to me?
Blame the restream.
Okay, maybe I just have bad eyes.
Yeah, that works too.
But we do have the bow, and that's for sure. Yeah, he'll switch to the bow eventually, and we'll make sure.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. If it was the fire rod, we'll probably see it used right back here as soon as he makes his way back to the Armos fight to light that one torch, since they're still looking for a lamp.
Yep. The lamp is kind of important. Technically, the chests that Fred is going to right now are not accessible by the logic at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Though you might as well do it while you're here.
Yeah, these dark rooms aren't exactly hard, and especially with the caliber of runners we've got here today, I'd be surprised to not, see them do a couple dark rooms here or there whenever they can.
Right. Now, in the back of Eastern Palace, there's another dark room, which is significantly trickier than those. And I've seen it claim runners even in the main tournament. That being said, today he's probably going to take care of it in no time at all.
Yeah, especially if that was really the fire rod, he can just fire his shot and light that torch, and then the dark room's not so dark anymore.
Yep, we're about to find out.
Oh, he's just gonna slash the dude and not even bother with anything. No menus, no light.
Yeah. Well, he's got he's got the tempered sword, so that's not a problem. Tempered sword kills the green Igors in one shot. But he will switch to the bow coming up.
Yeah, he can't avoid that menu. I mean, he can if he wants to go for bomb strats, but please, Fred.
Wait, can you damage the red Igors with bombs?
Oh, not the red Igors. I was already thinking about the armor.
Looks like it was fire, so much for what I know.
Alright, we're both officially blind.
But if we're blind, that means we're dead.
Alright.
So, today's commentary coming to you from two ghosts.
Coming to you live from beyond the grave.
It's a trap. Anyway. So, that thing about Ice Palace being viable, now it's actually viable.
And we got a hook shot. That's another big item to find.
Ho ho ho. So Eastern Palace is apparently the place to be today.
Absolutely, and drops a crystal to top it all off. Couldn't have gone much better for Fred here.
Yeah. And the thing with Eastern Palace is it's so like uncharacteristically trolly today because it's got the bow in it. A lot of people won't want to go to Eastern without the bow.
Yeah, and a lot of the times we see Eastern have like maybe one item that you want, if even. And this time it's just stacked.
Indeed.
Up on AA stream, below his rupee and bombs count, you can see the effect that the compasses have in Keysanity. He's currently at 4 items out of 14 that he can get in here.
Yep. Palace of Darkness in Keysanity is particularly lucrative. 14 different chests, and none of them have to be small keys or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way Keysanity distributes items.
Oh, there's a cape in the back of the hospital. We've seen that before, but now Problems picking that up.
And Sin will pick that up ever so slightly later.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, a Keysanity run, a good Keysanity run will get you, it depends on the seed, but I've seen them go anywhere from like an hour and a half to sometimes 3 hours, depending on the seed.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to say. I think a general rule of thumb maybe is it takes usually a little bit longer than a normal open mode seed that you would see in a tournament, I'd say. Of course, as you say, it depends on the seed and the routing and how well everything works out. And AA just grabbed Bombo, so he could... What's happening?
No, I just read the thing that Hippo said about a good Keysanity run.
Oh. Yeah, I'm getting some vibes here from Mr. Hippo in chat ever since the start. Apparently not the biggest fan of Keysanity.
And AA is making the play on Ice Palace.
Oh, AA going directly to Ice Palace.
He found Bombos somewhere. I guess in Pod. I guess he found it in Pod.
Must have been in Pod. Not necessarily a bad choice with what he has right now, but we see both Problems and Sin currently making their way through Eastern, picking up all those important items. We don't know what he'll find in Ice. It could still be very good, obviously.
So the Bombos, or sorry, what was I gonna say?
Oh man!
Oh yeah,
sorry to cut you off. But I just picked up the mirror in the first chest.
Nice.
So that's definitely a great find.
Mirror for days. Okay, yeah. Somebody was asking about why are the keys still specific to the dungeons, and yes, the keys, each key in the game is specifically coded to only work on doors in the dungeon they respect.
Yeah, and as we were explaining earlier, or rather you were explaining earlier, if you find a key in a dungeon that it belongs to, you just pick it up like you would normally. And if you find a key in a dungeon that it doesn't belong to, you'll get a little text box telling you where it actually can be used.
Yeah. So yeah, all of the keys and maps and stuff have been shuffled around. That's what Keysanity mode is all about. AA doing the Ice Palace bomb jump, while Fred Coughlin is making his way through the Tower of Hera.
Yeah, we found out earlier that it's the green pendant. Normally, with the green pendant, you have a little more incentive, but usually people try to avoid. Oh, missing.
I was going to say, I don't think I saw him pick up the big key.
Yeah, Fred, forgetting for a second that he is actually playing a Keysanity seat.
I was hesitant to say anything, but I was like, I don't think I've seen the Hera big key.
I'm not sure if we've even found a small key. I didn't pay attention to his key counter, because if he doesn't have a small key, he can't even check out the basement.
Yeah. So, Fred is heading into the Spiral Cave.
Yep, just slow walk around. Oh, and AA trying the second Ice Palace bomb jump here. It shouldn't really be a problem, but since he hasn't picked up the hook shot yet, it's gonna cost him some time.
Sorry about that.
So Problems picking up his little Eastern Palace care package, or the last bit of it at least. And Sin hot on his heels. AA still trying for that bomb jump. Had to use a blue pot, I believe, right? Did he find one? He's full hearts and full magic, so I'm assuming he had a blue pot.
Yeah. If only AA had gone to Eastern first.
Yeah, he's not gonna be happy once he sets foot into Eastern, I'm sure. Alright, he does make it through, though. Doesn't have any small keys for here anymore. Not the worst thing. But it's gonna make his way back to Cold Stare a little bit longer, unless he finds one. Oh, and just seeing that reminds me, keys that drop from enemies in dungeons or that are under pots or under a big stone like this one, they will still be there in their vanilla location, so to speak.
Yeah, pot drops have not been randomized at all. And nor have enemy key drops.
There's a butter sword for Fred and the second bottle in the hookshot cave.
So yes, all the swords acquired today. Still no silver arrows, so that's still a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Fred, he has, cleared as much of the Death Mountain area as he wants to, and it looks like he's heading over the Ice Rod Cave, and then he might head into Ice Palace.
Yeah, he's right there. Wouldn't be surprised, though with the flute he has an easy way back here if he wants to.
Fred, or not Fred, Problems is doing Ice Palace. He's having a little trouble with the bomb jump.
Yeah, that's the second runner that has to use his rat potion for bomb jump protection.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes using a different sprite that you're not used to can make it harder to do the bomb jumps.
And looks like your prediction was absolutely right. Fred making his way into Ice Palace as well.
All right.
I think apart from the mirror, we haven't really picked up anything great in here, right? Did I miss any big keys or even small keys?
I'm not sure.
I'll just say I didn't.
Bombos is actually in Palace of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Rod was in Eastern Palace. As was the bow, as was the hookshot. Fred picks up that mirror.
Well, for a second there, I thought he was going to mirror out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just switching over to bombs.
And we have AA coming up on the Cold Stare fight. He's got Tempered Sword and Bombos, and he'll be able to take care of Cold Stare pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, this is actually not having the Fire Rod gives AA a tiny advantage here because you didn't really have to pay too much attention to his magic count. If you only have the Fire Rod and no half magic, you need all of your magic to get rid of that ice shell.
Mm.
Alright, so AA picking up his number 6 or 5 crystal, I'm not sure. Also, this reminds me that after Fred is done here, he will be able to go and check the Pyramid Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
That's the whole reason I started talking about Ice Palace in the first place. Now the Butter Sword, as well as the Temper Sword, can make easy work of those Pen Gators. So Fred can just do a nice little slash on them, not have to resort to the bomb strats that you sometimes see people do.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Sin apparently wanting to check the Spike Cave here.
Ooh. Spike Cave is a thing. It's technically in the logic right now. The cape and the bottle gives you access.
And AA still avoiding that Eastern Palace, probably, as you were saying earlier, because he really doesn't want to go in there without the bow. He doesn't care that he doesn't have the lamp, but you really don't want to go in there if you don't have the bow.
And it's a wise decision, but unfortunately it's not the right one. So we've got Problems heading in to fight Cold Stare. Yeah, there are some nice strats for Cold Stare to sort of spin your sword at the right time, get him in the corner, and then just wail on him for a bit.
Yeah, just get him stuck in there. No big deal at all.
Yeah. If you have the Butter Sword, it's actually pretty easy to kill him before he even leaves the corner at all.
Oh, our tracker, or one of our trackers, Dustin here, making a very good point. AA probably does not have the Eastern Palace Big Key because he never fully cleared Thieves Town.
Ah. I mean, has he even gone into Thieves Town?
He has been in there, I believe, because he's got that Quake out of there. But I think he stopped after the first 4 chests because he
Oh, maybe he hasn't checked Hobo.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hobo has the Thieves Town Big Key. So yeah, just a series of unfortunate events leading to AmazingAmpharos' routing here.
Yeah, I mean, as you were already mentioning earlier, the bow in Eastern is a trolly thing. Absolutely trolly.
All right, so for those of you who are fans of this particular mode, Keysanity, we've got one of those races happening pretty much every day from here on. I think tomorrow we're not actually having one because the standard race is taking over that. Or no, it's Sunday that we're not having one. But we're having entrance Keysanity on Sunday.
And a normal Keysanity afterwards.
Well, there we go.
All the Keysanity you would ever want or not want. And there's the Butter Sword Cold Stare fight from Fred, as you see. Cold Stare not even getting a chance to move, just gets bullied into the corner and then dies horribly.
Yep. It's actually a little trickier than you think it is to get the spin off on Cold Stare at the right time. Because if you're not careful, you'll get hit by the ice coming from the ceiling, and then you won't get your spin off. And it's actually a pretty narrow window to hit all 3 at the same time before they split off. Yeah. The logic is coded as best as we can, but there's no guarantees that somebody hasn't made a mistake somewhere, and it leads to a soft lock. But we do what we can, and by we, I mean the people who actually do the development. I'm not anywhere near that.
Yeah, we just talk about this stuff. We don't actually do any of the work behind the scenes, at least not what the development is concerned.
So Turtle Rock small key. So the idea with Turtle Rock, there's 4 keys in chests in Turtle Rock. If you're in go mode, you need 3 of them, so that you can skip the big island, or the big key island. And I've seen some people just go ahead and skip that anyway. So it turns out Bombo's really important today.
So Fred, on his way over to Mothula, just going to be dropping down here in a second. As you can see from his convenient compass counter up there, after he kills Mothula, he still has 1 chest left to check in here.
Very true. But with the butter sword and the fire rod, Mothula, and all these hearts, Mothula will not be a problem.
Nope, a pretty clean fight here from Fred. Grabs his next crystal. So definitely in a pretty good crystal lead here right at this moment. Then the next closest one, from at least from the people that we are currently restreaming, is Problems. Really just that Skull Woods finish behind. He does have the fire rod to finish it, he just hasn't gone there yet.
Yep. So he's heading through Thieves Town.
Yeah, finally making his way through here. He's going to be picking up that big key, and he's still going to need... No, he has a small key. Okay, never mind.
He's going to be fine.
Oh, a small key in Spectacle Rock Cave. Have we seen that before?
Yeah. We saw the small key. I didn't actually see what it was for.
Well, we'll soon find out again. Okay.
That was a C sharp.
Alright, Fred making his way in the desert. He, strangely enough, despite getting those Pyramid Fairy crystals relatively early on, He seems to have no intention of going there anytime soon. Oh,
That
ice
was
rod.
the ice rod.
And that is unfortunately boots locked.
Yep. So if it turns out that Thieves Town has a crystal, which we know where 2 of the pendants are, but not the 3rd. If it turns out that Turtle Rock has that crystal, or Trinax has something, you're gonna need the boots. And of course, knowing how Keysanity works, the boots will be in Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, of course. At this point, anything can happen. Another small key for Turtle Rock, just because we were talking about it.
We have a lamp.
Oh, we do have a lamp, okay. And AA is picking up the big key to Tower of Hera from the big chest in Thieves Town that I don't think anyone else has checked so far.
Because AA actually did have the small key for Thieves Town. Now, again, the big key for Tower of Hera may not be required, as Tower of Hera is a pendant. But you never know.
It is the green pendant at the very least, so there's a bonus item, so to speak.
Indeed, it could be a green herring. So now AA has the big key of Eastern Palace, so we may see him go there.
And he really, really should.
Oh, is Fred doing the Fat Fairy play?
Looks like he's finally going there.
And you know, Swamp's not out of the question.
No, it definitely isn't, you're right. Alright, Sin has to refill his magic here. Or I don't really, yeah, he did for the last fire rod shot, just short a tiny little bit there. And while Problem's about to finish off his Skullwoods and grab his next crystal. And let's see what the Pyramid Fairy has for us here on Fred's side.
So we got a compass on the pyramid. And in the pyramid, we have 5 arrows, upgrade, and 20 rubies. So just a whole lot of diddly.
Yep, that was not worth it. Didn't even get the money back for your big bomb purchase.
Yeah, that's not what you call a return on investment. And looks like Fred might be making play on Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, I'm liking this. He has the items that he needs. I'm gonna assume he has enough keys to feel comfortable in there.
Nobody ever has enough keys to feel comfortable in pod.
That's a very good point.
If I have 6, I still feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you never know when that palace is gonna...
Oh, right,
grow.
the Swamp Small Key.
Oh, yeah.
I did not even think about that.
That's right, we're playing...
That's that other item for Swamp. Oh yeah, it looks like he's only got That's either a 1 or a 2.
I'm thinking that's a 2. Nope, that's a 1.
Yeah, so he doesn't have much in the way of small keys. And he just picked up the Hera small key. Now, one advantage that Fred will have in Pod here is he has the mirror.
Yeah, that just saves you so much time in here, being able to mirror right back to the entrance and then go a different route through the dungeon.
Yeah, you only need the Swamp Palace big key for the big chest, but you need the Swamp Palace small key just to get in the front door.
Yeah, since that first key is normally in a chest, it is of course also randomized. It's not guaranteed to be in that first chest of Swamp Palace. That chest can of course have something else important, but it's maybe not gonna be that small key that you're looking for.
Yeah. Now, there is a chest in this game that even in Keysanity mode is still guaranteed to be a small key, and that's that one in the southeast room of Skullwoods.
Yeah, that key can really never change because you can definitely soft plug yourself in there.
Or, I mean, at least lock it so that you have to save and quit out.
Yep, gonna be stuck in that trap room with the party Gyptos forever. It's like the Futurama episode with Slim Mackenzie.
Ah, yeah, there you go. All right.
So now
Did we
AA
see
gonna
Checkerbird
find out-
Cave?
I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. Yeah, completely worthless.
Right, so fcoughlin walking closer and closer to his Bombos medallion, which will give him access to both the medallion and locked dungeons. Sadly, you don't really want to go into either without the Cane of Samaria. I mean, in Turtle Rock, you definitely don't want to go in there without the Cane of Samaria. In Mire,
You won't be able to get very far.
Yeah, exactly. You can. I mean, if you're really hurting for a full magic refill or a single bomb, I guess that's the place to go. But
yeah, and of course, since we already know, we don't actually know this, but we could, that the boots are in Turtle Rock. You can't hover the gap either.
Nope, no hovering there. I would not be surprised to see Fred make his way into Mire. They've found quite a bunch of small keys already, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh look, we get the rare gold guards.
Yep, just a bit of a graphical glitch there.
Oh, and as SportsHefe is pointing out in chat, Fred did not drop down the hole to get his bombos. He left there.
Oh, wow.
And that's pretty bad.
So regardless of whether Palace of Darkness ends up being... Well, it is a crystal, so you're going to have to go get that. But either way, he's going to have to go back in there just to get the Bombos medallion. Unless it turns out that Turtle Rock is also a pendant.
Dropping some bombs on that chest, not happy about the money that he's getting, I think. Admittedly, I didn't pay enough attention apparently, but was Fred maybe short a key at the end there?
Yeah, everybody was short a key in Pod.
Yeah, but was he short a key to get to like to that chest in the beginning? Apparently not. I don't think so. You don't need a key to drop down there.
No.
No, makes no sense.
You can get there on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, one of the things you do when you're navigating pod in Keysanity is you want to go as far as you can without using any of your keys.
Yeah, you want to go as deep into the dungeons as you can with as little key usage as possible.
Alright, so AA is heading down to the coffee break room in Tower of Hera.
And I'm not 100% sure, but I do... No, this can't be his first visit here, right? He's been in here before.
What, AA?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure this is AA's first visit.
Oh man, I should really go with my gut feeling more instead of constantly doubting myself. Alright, so this is his first visit here, and fortunately for him, he's already had that small key, so we can at least check out the basement.
Yeah, he also has the big key. He got it in Thieves' Town.
Oh, right, of course.
He's the only one with the Tower of Hera big key.
Wait, really? Is he?
And no one else had the small key for Thieves' Town when they went in.
Oh, yeah, of course it was in the big chest. Oh, man. Keysanity is driving me insane. I'm not even playing.
I know, right? They don't call it Keysanity for nothing, folks.
Indeed.
We have not found the Ganon's Tower big key, to the best of my knowledge.
We have found, I think, 2 small keys so far, but not the big key.
So oftentimes in Keysanity, we'll find the Ganon's Tower big key early, which means, you know, once you reach Ganon's Tower, it'll be wide open. So there's the big key to Swamp Palace.
Alright.
For AA. But you really want the small one.
Yeah, that one small key that you want for Swamp, that can be a very elusive one.
Yeah, that small key is bigger than the big one. And,
Rando teaching us an important lesson. Sometimes the little guy is the more important one.
Indeed. So a spin and a slash to take down Trolldorm, no problems there. And Trolldorm drops a blue rupee and the green pendant. So I imagine we'll see AA go check Saha's Rala pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that is probably going to be his next stop, along with hopefully finally dipping down into Eastern. Grabbing that bow that he's been missing for so long.
Yep, he is going to check the Spike Cave first, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're already up here, might as well. Sin now about to enter his Mothula fight, while Problems is making his way over to Helmsor.
Very true. To be fair, I don't know if Problems is going to make it all the way to Helmsor, but we'll see.
I think it was too... okay, he's going to the left.
Yeah, he's got a bit more to check, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get Bombos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he already has Bombos.
Oh, well, he got Bombos. I know how words work. My bad.
Alright, Sin also going back for that heart piece in Skull Woods. Of course, we know that it's a heart piece, but as we said earlier, your familiar item count for the dungeons, they don't really matter in Keysanity.
Yep. At this point, it's more the chest count for the dungeon, which pod is loaded with chests. That's 14. Far and away the most chests in the game. I believe Turtle Rock has 12, and like Swamp has 10, I think.
Yeah, something along those lines. I'm personally, I have to admit, not very sure of those at all yet.
Well, all you have to do with that is take the familiar number you know, add 3 for the compass small key in the map, or the big key in the map, and then add 1 for every small key.
Okay, that makes sense.
So with Pod, you had 5 items. You have 6 small keys plus 3. That's 5 plus 6 plus 3 is 14.
Sounds correct to me. I'm not going to be doing math on stream.
Well, why not?
Because that would give away that I have no idea how numbers work. Why do you think I always guess chest number 8 when we're doing the big key guessing game? That's the only number I know.
I was going to say, have you forgotten the other 7?
Problems getting trolled by the bird here. Doesn't even get a chance for a bird toss because Bombos only kills things that are not flying around.
I thought it was Quake that only kills things that are not flying around.
You're right, I'm wrong.
Yeah, Bombos would absolutely kill the Murderdactyl, but it would do it in such a way that it would be untossable.
Oh, burn him right out of the air.
Okay, so we've got a misery Meyer check happening.
Yeah, I think I like this. As I said earlier, I think they found a bunch of keys already. There, I see 2 on Problems side here, so they can at least check a couple of things. There's also at least 1 key under a skull, so that's 3 already.
Turns out we do in fact have a green herring in the Tower of Hera, as AmazingAmpharos picks up just some bombs from Sahasrara, but he is heading over to the all-important Eastern Palace, where I imagine he will be frustrated beyond belief.
I'm wondering if we're gonna see AA do frustration slashes or anything like that. I feel like he's a guy that doesn't easily, you know, quote-unquote waste time like that, but this might be the exception.
There is that. Let's see.
Oh, there's the Swamp Palace small key in Meyer for Problems.
Oh, wow! Meyer turns out to be huge. That's an entire dungeon's worth of items that just opened up right there.
Yeah, Problems is going to be extremely happy finding that small key in here.
With the minor exception that Problems does not yet have access to the big chest in Swamp.
And we've already seen 1 big chest that they didn't have access to have something important. Thankfully, Problems already got that one.
To be fair, the only really important thing we found in Hera was the Swamp Palace big key.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so, AA finally picks up his fire rod and his bow. He'll pick up the hook shot once he destroys the Armos Knights. At least this time he can go to the Armos Knights in the, without being under the cover of darkness.
Yeah, this is 100% in the logic for AA right now. No sequence breaking at all with a lamp in hand already. Now SnHe in the basement here, gonna be grabbing his big key.
I believe someone pointed out the single arrow as it was found.
Yeah, I definitely saw it, but I don't remember where.
Ice Palace big chest, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
Swamp is just filled to the brim with items. And Problems picks up the red mail as well in Misery Mire.
Yep, and that was about all he could do with what he has right now. But, yeah, with that small key in hand, he's immediately making his way down the swamp.
Swamp Palace is a go.
And since we're seeing a frog sprite here, I just gotta mention, I do still believe that his red tunic is a little bit too tight around the neck. Getting
okay.
From not getting enough air here.
Yeah. And that is a little bit, possibly might want to see a physician about that lack of oxygen. Now, Fred just picked up the big key to Hera, because he did go to the Thieves' Town big chest.
Yep. Alright, I definitely want to see AA's reaction here once he sees that the hookshot is also in here. 3 items possible in normal Eastern Palace. Just as I expected. AA not even batting an eye.
Yep. Alright, so Problems looks like he will be finally heading over to Swamp Palace. We can see what's in here. Yeah, so let's see. Boots, cane, because we know where the ice rod is. And let's also say Ganon's Tower big key. That would be go mode.
Oh man, that would be pretty crazy.
But yeah, see, Ganon's Tower big key is now part of the go mode calculation.
I mean, yeah, it is. I was gonna say it kind of was before already, but it wasn't really. It's after go mode. You still obviously need it to finish the game.
Ooh, Problems finds the book in Swamp Palace.
That is an interesting find.
Yep, that opens 2 locations of items and another location of information.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll get to see some of that, I'm sure.
Sin also grabbing his explosives from his house roller.
Yep, bunch of blueberries. Just happened to explode. That's how bombs are made in Hyrule.
You put...
They're very specially grown blueberries.
Okay.
Genetically engineered to explode.
Alright, I thought you just pick up the Hyrulean blueberries and then you stick a wick in it and you're good to go.
I mean, that's part of the genetic operation.
Oh, okay. I was unclear about the detail of if it grows with a wick.
Don't you know how genetic engineering works? Of course there's a wick involved.
That makes perfect sense now that you mention it.
All right. So, Problem's heading over to the west wing of Swamp. Being careful not to flood this key.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we've seen happen even in the main tournament.
Somehow I don't think there's going to be an OCO tournament.
Yeah, I maybe timed Oko, but even that sounds a little unlikely.
And AA takes down Mothula in pretty much short order.
Yeah, not really having any trouble with that at all.
Yeah.
These guys, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say that these guys pretty much neck and neck item and especially crystal and pendant wise, with the exception of Problems not really killing Trolldorm yet.
Yep. Alright, so, left side of Swamp, we've got the Cane of Samaria.
Oh man. Now that is definitely an interesting find here for Problems. Is he gonna go back?
Problems has quite a treasure there in that Cane of Samaria.
That sounds horribly familiar.
Yep, Boots and TR could absolutely happen now.
Yeah, you've called it pretty early on, and it's definitely still a possibility.
Alright, so...
Oh, and to give you guys a quick update here, we unfortunately have our first forfeit of the race.
Aw.
I'm gonna give them the courtesy of not naming them, but sadly someone had to drop out.
So Fred, by the way, is making the play on Swamp as well. But has he been into Mire?
I don't think he has.
Okay. He's about to. And because sometimes there's something important in that one chest in Swamp that you have to go to. And in this case, when we're in Keysanity, we're talking about the very first chest, not the one that's not hammerlocked.
Mm-hmm. The very first one that spawns when you kill those 3 little water bugs, whatever they're called.
What are bugs, anyway?
Alright, here goes the Argus fight with the Butter Sword. Absolutely no issues at all.
Oh, yeah. Very nice, fast dealing with these little Cheeto balls. They're called Argai, but I just like calling them strange things. And nice little slash with the Butter Sword, and that will take Argus down. No problem.
Single rupee and a crystal. It looked like on Fred's side of the race here, it looked like he was thinking for a while on the flute screen where he wants to go. He really needs to get back into Thieves Town for that Bombos medallion. That's really all that's stopping him right now.
Or a pod.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, Problems did finish out Swamp Palace minus the big chest, which he did not have access to. So AA's in Mire right now. He's going to find the small key to Swamp, or I believe he already has at this point. And that means that he can actually go get the Swamp Palace big chest while he's there. If that turns out to be important, then AA is going to have a massive advantage.
Yeah, despite foregoing Eastern Palace for so long with like 3 super important items, he seems to be making very good time still, and his routing has actually quite paid off for him so far.
Yeah, I have learned to never discount AA's routing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he puts a lot more thought into the logic than I do.
Or really almost anybody else. Alright, we're getting a Dark Sewers chest check from Sin here. Meanwhile, Fred is warping back into the Dark World. Gonna have to see where he's going.
I mean, it looks like Pod to me. He might head to Catfish first. I don't know if he's checked that. I know someone has.
I'm just curious why he's going here. He has the flute. He could have just fluted to 5. Oh, he's checking the Lake Hylia Island. Oh man, did Fred forget about that chest maybe?
So there is the red boomerang on the ether tablet. So we've seen both of the tablets checked now.
Mm-hmm.
And Problems is going to step into Hera.
Yep, and AA just picking up his small key to Swamp Palace, so he now has his next goal set in the sights.
Yep, so far no big key to Mire, so they cannot continue here.
Mm-hmm. And Fred is definitely thinking.
Fred is kind of blue screened at this point.
Just waiting for his brain to reboot.
Fred.exe has encountered an error.
Would you like to send diagnostics? They do have a couple of TR small keys already. And
I think the big one as well.
Oh yeah, I think the big one as well, you're right. But the only one who really can do anything with that right now is Problems. And he might want to wait for his Ice Rod. Well,
here we go.
He already knows that the Ice Rod is on a torch, right? He's been to Desert as well.
I think so.
Yeah, so... Yeah, we could see that Turtle Rock did, because we need those boots, and as you were calling early on, they're definitely going to be in Turtle Rock.
There we go. So, Fred Coughlin, as we can see, is now heading back to Palace of Darkness, which is exactly where we want to see him go.
Yep, that he had the inspiration that he needed apparently from the little thinking break.
Alright, so AA making his way into Swamp. We'll see him pick up a few items in here, including the Cane of Samaria.
Oh, and now I see what Fred's problem was. He never opened the front key door, so he has to go all this way around, and then jump back down. And that's probably why he just decided to skip that chest instead of wasting a whole bunch of time walking all the way around here.
It's not really a problem, I see, because, you know, it saves you that key, but it does waste you a lot of time.
We just saw over on Sin's side, he also went back in there. A little bit of a lead compared to Fred. Quite a bunch of rage slashes after picking up that bomb balls finally. And Problems is indeed making the Turtle Rock play, so let's see what we can get out of here.
He's got 3 keys, which means you can clear the entire dungeon except for either Trinex or the big the vanilla big key chest. And which one you choose to leave behind is kind of up to you.
Yeah, it's really, there's no right or wrong play at this point.
Yeah, you can't beat Trinex at the moment anyway, so I imagine we'd save that for last.
Yeah, quite possibly. Since he does have the information of where the ice rod is, he knows he doesn't have to expect it in here somewhere, so he's probably just going to maximize the items that he can grab and then leave again.
Yep. So, here are the chain chomp room, the map of Tower of Hera. That's pretty much useless at this point.
Definitely not what we want to find.
I mean, unless you just like pretty pictures on your map, and so there you go. Yes, they do mix up the shuffled maps, the music, and the music does not unshuffle if you get the map. It's just that way.
Yeah, the only thing you get out of the map is if you do an actual map check in the overworld. Without the maps, you won't see anything, and with a map, you'll see if that dungeon on the overworld is a pendant or a crystal. So let's see what we got here. AA currently making his way through Swamp after finding the small key in Mire. Fred now about to pick up the same small key that lets him get into Swamp. I believe Sin went left side first, so he's going to be a little bit later in finding that small key. But I'd be very surprised to see Fred skip out on the left side here.
Yeah. I didn't see what AA got in the big chest.
Oh yeah, we missed that. Oh man. I don't think it was anything important because people would have yelled at us probably.
It's probably true.
Oh, the big key for Pod.
Pod big key. Oh, he hasn't opened it yet. Alright, that makes sense. Sort of. Yeah,
okay,
he'll pick it up on the way up to the backside. That makes sense.
And that's exactly the reason why we haven't seen it yet.
The shovel!
Oh, man.
Oh, more delayed reaction on that.
Yeah, this item is keeping us in suspense. Alright, Fred picking up his last item here as soon as this horribly slow wall animation finishes.
I believe it lasts something like 14 seconds.
Yeah, I think so. It's either 14 or 17. I somehow have 17 stuck in my head, but I'm not sure if that's perfectly correct. What I can tell you, though, is that it's entirely too long, especially if you're racing.
Yeah, it's 14 seconds, though in your mind it lasts 14 minutes. Got a piece of heart. Another piece of heart. Another piece of heart. Can we make it 4 for 4? Close enough.
Oh, man.
And Turtle Rock, there it is. So yeah, no boots in Turtle Rock. That was not correct on my part.
Yeah, it happens.
So boots on Helmasaur then? That'll make it sort of boots in Turtle Rock?
Yeah, true.
Because they had to go get the big key. Well, I guess that's a mimic cave, which it's part of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it is. I mean, how else would you get there?
Well, you could be an entrance shuffle.
Well, okay. I'll give you that.
Pedestal check has not happened yet. Nobody's had the real occasion to go there. I mean, I don't mind a pedestal check when it's convenient. Especially since having that knowledge can really make things easier on you. But in Keysanity, it's less useful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, at this point, I guess it could be a fetch quest item or the boots on pedestal, but that's about it, right? So mushroom powder or boots. Maybe silvers, I guess, but that doesn't really count as a progression item.
Yeah. I want to see if we go to the pedestal text, I want to see the text Aghanim halfway unlocked. Which is what happens when you have a castle tower small key.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would technically unlock an item.
How about AA finds that small key you were just talking about in the dig spot here?
That sure would be a thing, just to troll us.
Or maybe he digs up, I don't know, a mushroom or powder?
How about just explosives? So yeah, the Swamp Palace big chest turns out to be a dud as well, and I believe that means the Tower of Hera in itself was just straight garbage today. With, barring pedestal.
Yeah, that pedestal is still on our minds, but other than that, we did not really find anything that helped us. It just made us spend a bunch of time and didn't really give us anything.
And as much as you dislike the pedestal hype, when it happens, it does happen. And so it may actually, it gets more and more likely as this race continues.
Yeah, there's not too much stuff left to check, really. We're probably going to see a tablet check from AA as well here.
Yeah. He already checked Bombos one, and then he'll probably do Turtle Rock as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Problems is headed for Helmasaur.
So Problems apparently skipping the big chest and pod.
Interesting. It might actually be a little faster to just go kill Helmasaur, let him take you out, and then go back in.
Mm-hmm.
Because instead of mirroring from the big chest, you can save and quit. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm sure he has a plan of some sort.
It's the Desert Palace Big Key.
Okay, the hunt continues.
So for those of you who are noticing this, when you get a key or an item that causes a text box to appear, the crystal becomes slightly discolored. It becomes yellow. That does not mean it's a special crystal. It just means you got an item with a text box.
Yeah, you don't get anything special other than the item itself. Unfortunately, maybe, but that's just a palette problem and not really anything, not really indicative of anything.
All right, so Problems now going to check the big chest. Oh, we're going to see a hammer yump.
Alright, so now Fred has picked up his red cane. Sin decided to skip the left side for now. I'm pretty sure he's going to go back in and finish it up once he kills Argus here. Oh,
Oh,
and there's
the
the
boots! So Boots kind of in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, through a very
Boots
elaborate.
locked behind Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Well, both of those things said go to desert.
Yeah, and that's exactly where he's heading. Gonna be grabbing his ice rod immediately. Probably also gonna finish up desert right away.
And he can also check what's in the big chest.
Mm-hmm. So we're inching closer and closer to go mode, or are we already in go mode now?
All we're missing is that all important Ganon's Tower big key.
Oh yes, of course.
Problems piecing out.
Okay, that's an interesting move. I guess he wants to do Turtle Rock right away. Has he found the map to desert yet? Is it a pendant or something?
I don't know.
No, I mean, this, unless Trinex holds something that we really need, we already know that Turtle Rock is pretty much a bust, item and key-wise.
Yep. This does not feel like a great play to me, just to be honest. You've got two potential items sitting there in desert, one at the big chest and one at Lamolus, and you've only got one in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this works out for him. I'm a little bit surprised as well that he just decides to leave that behind, but maybe it's actually a gamble from him. Maybe he's just thinking that he might be behind or in not such a good position, and he feels like he has to gamble on leaving those two items there for now.
It's possible. It might also be based on the fact that, he cleared Palace of Darkness with fewer keys than the logic wants you to have. And so he's thinking, well, the stuff that's locked behind pod can't really be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Another pod key in here in the big chest of Turtle Rock. Not that we really needed.
Yeah, so we definitely do have a required double dip into Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the thing with Keysanity, is the only thing that you have to get used to in Keysanity is you're gonna double dip dungeons, and there's almost nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, oftentimes there really is no way around it just because of how the keys work out. It's not only the items that are blocking your progression anymore, it's also all those keys that are spread around, and if something like this happens, this is the best example, I'd say. You're gonna have to double dip into Turtle Rock if you want to or not.
Yeah, so if you're not a fan of double dipping dungeons, well, I would say don't play Keysanity, but really just get used to doing dungeons, because you want to play Keysanity. You just don't know it.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
And so AmazingAmpharos is going to go through the laser bridge of love. Problems will go finish off Trinex. This will be a very quick fight. And
yeah, backdoor Trinex with Butter Sword.
Oh, that was Zero Cycle Trinex. right there. His head never charged, not once. That was
No
glorious.
chance. Barely gets around the corner as the snake here.
Zero Cycle Trine X is a very tough feat.
Alright, so theoretically, Problems could go into GT now, but does he really gamble on a big key of GT being in GT? Sure looks like it.
Yep, he's going for it. So we could have Ganon's Tower Big Key in its own dungeon. Can happen. There's 22 chests in there, and there's about 211 chests it can be in, so a little over 12% chance.
I mean, theoretically, we could start the guessing game now, right?
I mean, we could, but I don't think we even run the bot for the daily races anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't start the bot, and people are starting to guess anyway, so... Good luck, you guys. I think, I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple of items or locations, but I'd say if it's not in here, it might be desert.
Yeah. Could be desert.
We've seen, I'm trying to think what we haven't seen. Of course, the pedestal is still up in the air. We've seen Quakefish, we've seen Blacksmith, Gary's Lunchbox, Pet Cave, all that stuff. We've seen most of the mirror spots, I believe.
I imagine if it turns out to be pedestal, it will be a blind pull of the pedestal.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to check it.
Castle Tower.
Oh, second chest in Castle Tower.
Oh man, if this is a required double dip into GT...
That would be gross.
That would be very gross.
Yeah, so second... Here we go. Second chest in Castle Tower has Misery Mire Big Key. And Vidi has Ganon's Tower Big Key.
Oh, there's a big key?
It's Misery Mire.
Oh man! All Problems is getting from here is more stuff to check. I mean, that's probably why he went in here in the first place, but... Oh man.
So there's the Misery Mire Big Key, so we don't know where the big key for Ganon's Tower is. I think if we see another big key, it has to be the Ganon's Tower one, though.
Yeah, I think at this point they pretty much have all the big keys, right?
I think... There's the map of Turtle Rock. And a B-Tor.
Yeah, can't finish a seat without a B-Tor. I'm curious to see if he's gonna do the tile room at the very end.
Alright, so we got a red rupee in the firebar room. And then some cane strats as he heads through toward the fire snake room and onto the rando room. Yeah, maps and compasses do show the text boxes. It's a little strange, but it happens. Was that the silvers?
I'm not 100% sure, but apparently it was.
Yeah, it looked like the silvers to me. It was a little blurry on my screen, but I don't know. Alright, silvers sitting there in the fire snake room of Ganon's Tower. Alright, so we've got the compass of Ganon's Tower, so now we can keep track of the items.
Yep, 10 more left.
Yep. Some of which are locked behind that big key.
Of course.
We also have the cane of Brian, so Brian, if you're watching, You found your cane.
Yeah, you can pick it up at the register after this race is over.
Seems pretty good. All right.
Okay, we're coming up with the last few chests here, killing ice armos, and after that, if it's not in those 4 chests here, Bob's chests and the 3 ice armos, there's only the tile room left.
We got the map of Thieves Town.
Ganon's Tower sure likes maps.
Indeed. All right, back door toward the 3 chests behind ice armos. We've got a shield, a compass, and 20 rupees.
Oh, and we're seeing tile room.
Yep. I mean, I'd check tile room while I was here.
Yeah, if you're already in here and you basically full cleared everything that you can reach, you know, what if it really is in tile room in the end?
Yeah, I agree with the play to go into Ganon's Tower and check it, just because there's going to be far more chests here than anywhere else. So it's at this point, it's pretty likely. Unfortunately, it looks like it may not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
With this one possible exception. The tile room.
Yeah, this is all or nothing, at least for this current play that Problems is doing.
Of course.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody notices how many tiles are in this room, right?
Oh, it's a Ganon's Tower small key. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's an interesting mirror bonk.
Yep. Can't mirror from the top of Ganon's Tower exit.
Here are the boots for AA, so he is now gonna start his big search for Ganon's Tower big key. And looks like Fred is also making his way over back into pod, so he will be picking up his boots.
Yeah, V600, we are looking for the Ganon's Tower big key. Because this is Keysanity, it could be anywhere.
I'm especially curious to see now. Obviously, Problems is going back into Mire, killing Vitreous, which I like. But I'm really curious to see if AA and after him Fred will check out Desert completely and maybe get what they're looking for in there.
Unfortunately, Jazz, even the shovel was just bombs. So we did see AA check that just as soon as he got it. But Problems is heading back into Misery Mire to see what Vitreous has, and potentially the big key, or the big chest here in Misery Mire. Ten arrows in the big chest, so what does Vitreous have today?
Okay, Sin also making the right play here in Eastern, going back in for those chests that he's had to leave behind. Oh, Fred, don't leave, please. Okay, good.
Alright, so Fred Coughlin's gonna go finish off Helmasaur.
Alright, so we saw AA checking the big chest in Desert, but he did not want to waste the time to kill Landmola, so that is still one thing.
Yep, Landmola's still at large. Turned out to not be in the Desert Palace big chest.
And we're really slowly but surely starting to whittle down all these locations that are left.
And off we go. So, Problem making his way to Vitreous. This fight should be over soon. The silver arrows will make short work of Vitreous.
Yeah, conveniently picking those up in Ganon's tower.
It's the big key to
is.
Ganon's tower on Vitreous!
Alright, so at pretty much exactly 1 hour and 55 minutes, Problems is the first one of our restreamed runners to be in official Go mode.
Hot dang.
That is a required T-Rock double dip and a required Ganon's Tower double dip. Ooh boy.
Indeed. At least the Ganon's Tower double dip made things easier on him, because he picked up the silvers.
Oh, and of course also a Misery Mire double dip because we had to go back and kill Vitreous, so can't forget about that. And Pod as well. Yeah, I mean, as Big Dunka is pointing out, that's just Keysanity. You were saying it earlier. You won't get around those double dips in Keysanity.
Yep, you're just gonna have to get used to the idea of double dipping dungeons if you want to play Keysanity. I think at that point, all we really had left, to be fair, was like Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb and Landmola's and Pedestal.
And the second chest in Aghanims Tower.
Right. Yeah, so basically the 24th location after entering Ganon's Tower, yeah.
Yeah, I guess technically, you're technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yes. Again, with the Futurama reference.
I can't help myself today, apparently.
Sounds fine to me.
So, just to give you guys a little update on the race overall, since that forfeit that we had earlier, nobody has finished so far. So, it seems like Problems is on a pretty good pace.
Yeah. Problems kind of just quietly just wrecked everybody here. Because he was just kind of... It wasn't really who we were following early on. Fred seemed to head there, and he fell behind after skipping Bombos. And AA fell behind early after not checking Eastern. And then Problems just quietly just surprised all of us out of nowhere. Futurama reference, the best kind of reference. Yeah, okay.
I like that.
We'll have to upgrade your bureaucrat level. To be fair, I think it's closer to like location 200.
Yeah, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm curious to see their locations checked at the very end.
Good news, everyone! We've found the Ganon's Tower big key!
Very nice.
It was at Vitreous.
So AA grabbing his Misery Mire big key. Is he? Yep, he is continuing on, which is a good decision. Obviously, you don't want to immediately leave.
Alright, so ProblemsIRL on his way up Ganon's Tower, heading through the Wizrobe rooms. Some of my favorite rooms in the game.
Yeah, when you see them done like this, it's a pleasure to watch.
I've been told that you can't actually use the Cane of Samaria on them if you don't have the Cane of Samaria.
Are you sure about that?
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, I guess sounds kind of reasonable. And Fred is checking more bonk rocks and stuff here.
Unless one of our other racers that's not being featured is doing just as well as Problems, it does look like this is Problems' race to lose.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on IRC here, seeing if anyone is dunning before Problems can get up there, but so far it's looking very good for him.
All right. So, with that, AA is about to pick up his silvers, while Problems takes down Trolldorm 2, no problem. And for some reason, I think people like to talk about Dairy Queen here, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not such a huge fan of dairy products, so I don't get it.
Are you lactose intolerant, Hervey Durfy?
No, I'm actually not. I'm just generally not that huge of a fan. I mean, I like some good ice cream, but, you know.
All right. So there's a double on the first cycle of Aga 2, and just a single, courtesy of unfortunate blue projectiles.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
And there another single, and oh, close on that, but no cigar. So one more hit will do it, and there it goes.
And we see down here on Sin's side that he is actually opting to kill and maul us. And Problems here playing us the song of his people.
Alright, so we move on to the Ganon fight.
Yep. Butter sword, silver arrows, 18 hearts that are not full, admittedly, but it shouldn't make much of a difference. And
Ganon apparently thinks we're playing Zelda 2 today. And Butter Sword makes Ganon fight super easy. You only need 6 hits for the first couple of phases. And then 1 hit per jump on the third phase. And the final phase, 4 silver arrows once he's turned blue. So this should be over soon.
Yeah, barring any mishaps, so far still nobody dunning, so Problems still at a very good pace here.
Indeed. Both. We should see this end very quickly. Missing the torch glitch, no problems there. We got plenty of magic. We got half magic. 1, 2, 3, done.
Beautiful.
The triple arrow shot. And ProblemsIRL manages to defeat Ganon. Nobody sniping just yet. And it looks like we have our winner.
Yeah,
ProblemsIRL finishing with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 12 seconds. GG to Problems. Well done. Looks like AA has finished clearing out Ganon's tower. He's going to go see what he's missed. I think he's going to do Bonkrock's King's Tomb first. See if we're going to talk to somebody.
I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here because I can't talk in the IRC room, so I can't ask Problems to join us for an interview.
Interesting.
Yeah, it requires voice, probably to avoid spoilers, but unfortunately, since I did not join the race.
Interesting. Well, I will do this other thing.
Do the thing, Bob.
doing the direct message.
That sounds like a good idea.
And there we are. Problems IRL is joining us here in the chat room. Congratulations, Problems.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, what a nice seed.
Yeah, GG Problems, man. Winning this over the 29, I believe, other people, or 28 other people that were racing this. And the first thing I want to ask you is, how do you feel about double dipping a couple of dungeons?
Usually I would be complaining about that, but since I got those double dips down pretty much every single time, it was pretty nice. I feel like my routing for this seed was nice, but that was a lot of required double dips. Like even for Keysanity, I felt that was a lot of double dipping.
It was. It was Pod, it was Misery Mire, it was Ganon's Tower, which is just insane, really, but not unusual.
And Turtle Rock, of course.
And of course, Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Turtle Rock also. I had those overworld spots in the back of my head the entire time, like the mirror ledge, northern mirror ledge. Like I just never checked that. The purple chest, especially, were on my mind the whole time. When I found the boots and I just went straight for GT, I suddenly noticed that I didn't have to gain a Tower big key. So the big key could have actually been in the boot spots as well, Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb. But I mean, at that point, I was up on the way to GT, so I just went for it, and it worked.
We did just see Sin check the pedestal. That was a big heart.
Oh damn.
Yep.
Pedestal wasn't really an option for the longest time, so I never bothered to check. Same for Lumberjacks, I just never had access to that.
Yeah, very true.
I think Lumberjack was a map of some kind.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I believe it was a map. Another question I have for you is, I think it was you. I hope I'm not mixing you up with one of the other three runners, but I think it was you. You grabbed the ice rod out of desert and immediately left. Didn't even check the.
Oh, I regretted that as soon as I did it. I flew away from desert, and then I realized I didn't have the GT big key. So I was already flying when I realized I should have checked the big chest. Like that's a bad play. That's just a bad call. I should have definitely gone to the big chest. I just forgot.
Yeah, happens to the best of us. I just wanted to make sure if you actually forgot, or if you thought you were maybe behind or something and had to make the gamble.
I felt pretty good about how I did this seed. Like I never really felt behind at any point in time, and I definitely should have checked that chest. I think you can make a case for not going to land Molas because that's a fairly long check, but the big chest is right there. You shouldn't skip that.
And we're getting our second place finisher in here on the IRC in Killer App 23, finishing with 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 9 seconds. So about 5 minutes after you. So quite a bit of a lead here.
Yeah, nice. Killer App gets that second place finish. Vitreous having the Ganon's Tower big key. AA just picked that one up, of course.
Oh damn.
So he might be the third one to finish. We'll see.
And I just realized that the Triforce is telling you that it got you.
Yeah.
Got him. All right. So that was quite the seed.
Quite the seed, but I enjoyed that.
Hey, can we talk about that Eastern Palace for a second here?
I felt really bad when I went to Eastern Palace because I felt like I went fairly late, especially when I saw the fire rod. And then I saw the bow and I felt better about it. But at first I was really worried.
Yeah, AA waited until like an hour and 10 minutes in to go to Eastern or something like that.
Yeah, and he was actually
it actually
quite
helped
close.
him out.
The unfortunate thing for him was that he went back to Pod quite late to grab his boots.
Oh, damn.
Fred, on the other hand, Fred was doing extremely well. He went into Eastern very early, got the bow, and was just killing it. And then he left Bombos in Pod
Oh no! Oh yeah, Bombos was quite a big one. I didn't feel too good about going to pod with 2 keys, but then Bombos showed up, and that wasn't technically even key locked, so that made me feel a lot better.
Right. And of course, Bombos being the medallion for all of the medallion dungeons today, very important.
Yeah, he was. We saw him pausing on the flute screen for a while, not quite sure where he should flute to. He stood in front of the sanctuary for like 30 seconds, really thinking hard where he needs to go. And then he thankfully made the right play and went back to pod to pick up that Bombos.
If that's an actual question, Fred is Fred fcoughlin there on the right. On the bottom right.
I'm sorry. I'm just so used to these guys that I'm calling him Fred, but he is fcoughlin, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any specific questions anymore. Do you have any more thoughts or things you want to get off your chest, Problems?
Not specifically. I'm really happy with how I played this seed. I think everything worked out pretty well for me, so feels pretty good, the win of these.
How do you feel about Keysanity in general? That's what I
love Keysanity. The first time I played this, I fell in love. I wish there was like the next tournament would be some big Keysanity tournament. I know a lot of people don't think it's very raceable because you end up 100%ing a lot, kind of like in this seed. But I think routing still plays a really, really big strategical factor, and I think it's a ton of fun.
And also, you know, the more of the game that you have to clear, the more skill comes into play as well. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
That I think, you know, if you're not a fan of the variance that say standard and open mode provides, Keysanity kind of mitigates that variance a little bit, even though it seems like it'd be more ridiculous.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice you would give to somebody who wants to try to pick up Keysanity for the first time?
Oof. I mean, my biggest advice is usually just to go for the highest item densities locations. Especially, I think if you come from open or standard, you're going to be very hesitant to double dip dungeons, and in Keysanity especially, you absolutely can't be scared of double dips because they are more likely to happen, and they will happen. So you just can't be scared of them. Just count your chests, see where you can go to get the most items per second, like the most checks per second, and just go there.
Yeah. So, like, for example, you're okay with double dipping a pod where you have a couple of keys because you can get a lot of things in there. You probably wouldn't just go into Swamp without the one small key, because that seems like a very bad double dip.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying count your items, because if you don't have the key for Swamp, you spend like a minute, 2 minutes to get one item. But with 2 pod keys, I mean, I went to pod with 2 keys and the bow, and I was able to get like 9 or 10 items. That's pretty massive.
And sorry for cutting you guys off really quickly, but we got a 3rd place finisher in Genja with 2 hours and 13 minutes, 21 seconds, and just sniping place number 4 7 seconds later with Final Flame coming in at 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 28 seconds.
Is that Final Flame?
Yeah, it is. Oh no, it's not. It's Aerial.
I was like, I didn't know. For all I knew, that could be his IRC name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but he just snuck a GG in there in between the lines, and I got confused in my little brain.
No, it was Error. So good times. 4th place established. AA now on to the Aga 2 fight. Nails the double on the first shot.
Oh, and Fred Coughlin here picking up his riot shield in Aga Tower. Went back there.
The game baited you really hard to Aga Tower, to be fair.
Oh, they sure did.
With both of those keys in Ganon's tower. But ended up being a bust.
And I hope we get Genja in the chat here soon, but his comment on IRC was, I heard falling down after having killed Ganon is a good strat. So, despite coming in 3rd place, he could have saved a lot of time, I want to say.
Yeah, that's like 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah.
And AA enters the Ganon fight. Again, butter sword, silver arrows, not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, gonna be super quick here.
Sin is apparently taking a short break, either a sanity break or a bio break, who knows, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out where he needs to go. I'm not sure if he's been back in Turtle Rock.
One thing actually that just came to my mind that I gotta say about this seed is that I really liked how long it took to get the whole crystal and pendant layout. I'm not sure if the other racers took as long as I did, but I was like 6 dungeons in when I finally knew where the damn red pendant was. So that's actually something that doesn't happen that often. You usually get the layout fairly fast.
To be fair, I didn't actually know it when you did, because I was like, why didn't you go finish Landmo? It could be the crystal.
Yeah. I found the desert map in somewhere in Swamp, I think. Yeah, I found it in Swamp. I found it in Swamp.
That makes sense.
Alright, so AA also finishing up here. Congrats to him. Finishes in 5th place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 19 seconds. Sin, unfortunately, forfeiting here. Does not know where to look anymore. He is sadly a little bit lost.
Alright, and it looks like Inknun came in right after AA with 6th place finish. So AA may come in here for an interview. If I recall correctly, he wants to make sure his stream shuts down before he pulls up Discord.
Yeah, he says streaming and Discord at the same time. His internet connection, his upload can't handle it. And I believe Sin is missing the Misery Mire big key from Trinix, I'm assuming.
Or
not Trinix.
Let's see. He's actually missing a small key for Turtle Rock.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, he is. We can see it. This is, unfortunately for him, he already forfeit, but this is a good opportunity for you guys to see the added menu functionality for Keysanity there at the bottom. You see all the dungeons listed from left to right, GT being the last one. The first row is the small keys shown by numbers. The second row are the big keys shown by check marks. So you always have an overview of what you have and what you don't have.
And little known fact, if you hit the select button, you can see the maps and compasses as well. Now, Mekon just finished in 7th place. So we've got Mekon finishing. Fred finally finishes off Vitreous to grab that Ganon Tower big key.
Yeah, gonna be making his way right up there.
Yep, so AA kind of fast forward a little bit through the credits there, and we're going to see his statistics here at the end. Checked all of Hyrule Castle, all of Eastern, most of Desert, all of Hera.
And we got our 8th place finisher in El Magus.
All right.
So we're closing in on the top 10 of our 29 runners here.
191 locations checked, and to be fair, it could be a little more than that, because it only counts the ones, like if they're lying out in the world, it only counts it if you picked it up. So Fred now heading back to Ganon's Tower.
Yep,
Sin having forfeited the race, he's still going to go searching around.
Yeah, definitely wants to see what he was missing. We got our 9th place finisher in Gamer Count, so only one more left for place number 10, and then we got our top 10 out of the way.
See, it's possible that Sin actually went into Turtle Rock and used the small key to get to the big key island. At which point, we wouldn't know where the last Turtle Rock key is.
Ah, that's a very good point.
I think we can invite Sin in once he's ready to.
Yeah, absolutely. He can definitely come in for a post-game interview. I just think he probably wants to finish looking for stuff here first. We'll see. We can ask him, and if he wants to come in, he's free to, of course. We're not gonna stop anyone from being interviewed just because he forfeited. Really, anything can cause a forfeit, not just giving up or not wanting to play anymore. There might be an emergency, there might be something else. So, forfeits are no grounds for denying an interview.
So AA's comment on the seed, I don't understand why people are scared of entrance shuffle if this is okay.
Hello there, AA, and GG.
Looks like we're not quite hearing you.
Oh,
there you are.
Sorry, I wasn't hitting the button. Yeah, that was something. Haiku Type's definitely somewhere celebrating the location of that bow, which that alone is what would have caught me up to problems. His time was really good, but that's probably the difference between me and second was full clearing the world, other than Skull Big Chest and the one chest in Swamp before going to Eastern for everything.
Yeah, basically. Problems actually went to Eastern, in the middle, but not nearly as early as Fred Coughlin did. He went way early, got all those goodies, but then he accidentally left Bombos in Pod, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I gotta say, that Bombos letting me do Ice Palace when the Fire Rod was just right. It was literally in the same location, just the other world. It was pretty special.
Yeah, a little bit.
Indeed.
It did end up working out for you, kind of, though. Like, you were the only one who had Bombos going through Ice Palace, so you didn't have to watch your magic to be full at all times, which, isn't really a big deal, but every little thing counts. So it kind of worked in your favor a little bit, but obviously with like 3 super important items in Eastern and with how late you checked it.
Yeah, but even after that, you just started catching up left and right.
Yeah, like, after I was done with Eastern, like, the advantage, if we want to call it an advantage, is I had pretty close to full cleared the world, so my next move was always obvious at every point.
Yep.
I also did appreciate the forced double dip into Turtle Rock. That was pretty good. I am thankful that the boots were in the big chest in Pod and not one of the small chests over there, so hammer jumping would not have made a difference.
Right. Yeah, the whole the number of double dips required for this seed was not a small number. Yeah, the double dip to Pod, the double dip to Mire, the double dip to Turtle Rock, the double dip to Ganon's Tower, all sorts of things.
So there was definitely a suggestion made in my chat that I think was mostly in jest of, as soon as I found the Mire big key, which was outstanding, by the way, was just go and do pedestal right now. Like, it's not responsible, but if I'd followed that train of thought, I would have done Mire before Desert, killing Landmalus regardless. That would have gotten me a couple of places, but it would have been a heck of a call, right?
Oh, yeah.
I actually never had the Hero big key. Where was that?
Thief's Town Big Chest.
Oh, I gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, I put off doing the bottom of Thieves for the small key for a really long time, which the small key was actually available from the very beginning, but I'd never gone to the mountain. It was like, I know there's only one chest in the back half of Thieves that is logically open without the small key, and I didn't want to orphan the big chest. Though, as it turns out, had I orphaned the big chest, it would have just saved me time because Hera was a whole lot of wasted time.
There was a lot of garbage in there and a lot of like troll garbage because it was like, oh, you found the Swamp Palace big key. Oh, you found the shovel. Oh, the shovel was straight garbage.
Oh no, the shovel's actually in Swamp, but the real gem was the Ice Palace small key in the Hera basement. That was what I wanted to see.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I
There you
hadn't done
go.
that right side Ice Palace bomb jump in quite a while. I think it showed.
And that was once again another thing that, Eastern might have helped with.
Where was the Eastern big key anyway? Because like going to Eastern early obviously paid off, but if you went too early, it would have really punished you.
Right.
It was somewhere in, was it in Skull Woods? It was somewhere in that area because I went there after Dark World Access, and then I went to Eastern, and I already had the big key.
It was in Thieves Town, apparently.
Oh, in Thieves Town.
Yeah, it was in Skylight Room.
Oh, so if you did Thieves right away without worrying about the small key, you got the Eastern big key, then you just went to Eastern, you would have found the bow, you would have completed the dungeon with 3 progression items and a crystal, and then that would have naturally led you to Ice Palace where you find the mirror.
Exactly.
The whole seed falls into place from there until the late game trolls, but at least you have a huge leg up, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yep. Sometimes that logic betrays you.
And there is Fred Coughlin finally finishing up here. Doesn't seem to be too happy about how the seed went for him.
Yep.
I mean, I think my comment was apt. Everyone should really give the entrance randomizer a try because it is not on average dumber than this.
I believe it. Yeah, and entrance rando is fun. So is Keysanity. What about entrance Keysanity? Is that going to be fun Sunday?
It is spectacular.
Oh man, that is gonna be crazy times.
I mean, in fairness, I got a 216 here, and I think I average about a 220 something. I think about 223 is my entrance Keysanity average, so it's a little bit of a longer format.
All right. So you heard it here first. Entrance Keysanity is fantastic. I'm so looking forward to that on Sunday. If I'm not commentating it, I will be doing it, and that will be glorious. So Fred finishes it off, and everybody is ready to go. Let's see if we can. I don't remember. Do we get to talk to Fred? Does he have a thing?
I'm not sure. I think maybe.
I mean, Fred definitely has a mic. Whether he wants to interview is something you'd have to ask him.
Are you on that, Bob?
I am.
Awesome. So, Problems, what I was wanting to ask you, and now that AA is here, I'm going to ask him as well. Do you guys believe that the tile room... I mean, I know this seed was a little bit special, but do you guys believe that the tile room is a more common thing in Keysanity?
Which tile room?
Sorry,
Exactly.
the GT tile room, of course. The
Oh,
only
in
one that
Keysanity,
matters.
GT tile room is way less common because usually once you enter GT, you can skip the basement.
Yeah.
And even
right.
if you can't, you still have the 1 out of 22 that it has the thing you need to either be the GT Big Key or, in this case, access the GT Big Key.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Cyclone, I believe everybody explored Ganon's Tower on stream, and I think Fred actually opened all the chests on the way up as well.
Did he find the mushroom or the powder? I was really getting
Mushroom
curious
was
about those.
Mushroom was there. Mushroom was in the mini helm store room.
Yeah. Powder is still at large. We have no idea.
Sin has the powder.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Was
I
it
wonder where
dropped
he
by the
picked that up.
Landmalus?
Yeah, that must have been.
Yeah,
it.
must be.
Like, I cannot think of any other, because the credits told me the mushroom cashed in for health. So, and the pedestal was health. So, Landmalus is the only spot in the world I can think of other than GT Big Chest and Upper GT and GT Tile Room, but sounds like Fred covered most of that. GT Big Chest, I guess, is a factor, but I can't imagine anyone opening it.
Yeah,
So-
would be surprising.
So, AA, you are, in my opinion, one of the people who knows the most about the logic of this game. So maybe you can tell me if I'm crazy on this. When it comes to Keysanity, I think, as you just said, basically everywhere in Ganon's Tower, its value goes down. But I think that basically makes every place out in the world a little more likely. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, so what you have to understand about the V26, V27 algorithm, you know the whole dungeon bias concept?
hmm
The reason for the dungeon bias concept is because of how the algorithm handles automatically putting keys and dungeon-specific items into dungeons. But in Keysanity, it doesn't do that. So actually, all the spots are as close to equal as possible, barring the, minor detail that some spots are more blocked and therefore it requires more complex circumstances to deal with them. But spots with similar access are of similar value in Keysanity.
Right. So, I have a dumb thought in my mind where basically, in early game where you're going through Kakariko, I basically just always YOLO the race game. Because I'm just like, it's going to be something.
I mean, it's not a bad decision there either, because again, in normal, non-Keysanity, you need 20-something items to finish the game, realistically. That's about the average of the number of progression items you need to find. In Keysanity, it's closer to 50, so the relative odds of the race game is something you need. Or even if it's something you don't need, like a Meyer small key, it'll look like something you need, so you'll want to pick it up anyway.
Yeah, so I did ask Fred if he wants an interview. I didn't see any response. So I don't know what'll happen there.
Yeah, we'll wait until he gets back to us. He
Though
probably needs a little bit of a bio break.
I did do it on an IRC direct message, so maybe I should do it on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
But as salty as this seed made me, it was a good seed. It really showed how much garbage there is in Hyrule and made you work for it. GT Double Dip is fantastic. I was not angry. I was laughing when that big key was the Meyer big key.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
We were very excited to see a big key there, and then, of course, it wasn't the GT big key, so...
Yeah, that roller coaster of emotion. You see the big key. All right. Oh, no, it's the wrong one.
I mean, at that point, I'd full cleared so much, and I kind of figured competitively it didn't matter one way or another which big key it was. I totally had it in my mind that it was just as likely to be Meyer big key, and I was so suspicious of that desert big key I'd gotten. I mean, I was suspicious of the pedestal.
As were all of us until Vitreous went down. At least the forced double dip into Ganon's Tower also kind of forced you to pick up the silvers, and so Vitreous was easy.
Not that he was hard anyway with half magic, cold sword, and the cape.
True. I've just still got nightmares of 40 bombs and arrows.
Oh, man.
You know, you could look at it as a nightmare. You could look at it as a gift of being taught Vitreous's AI very well. Now he's easy when you fight him with real equipment, right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Almost as easy as Mothula.
Oh, shoot me.
All right, I think this concludes the interview with AA, and we'll never hear from him again.
No. Mothula, that was fun. 6 hours of fun.
If you really finish the whole seed in 6 hours, then I'm very impressed.
No. That was Mothula. 6 hours of Mothula.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm not done yet. I still gotta kill Trinex. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. For those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, go play AA's Plando. It is the worst.
Or
it is entitled the worst.
Or hammer a rusty nail into your kneecap about the same amount of fun you're gonna have.
No, it's a work of art, let me tell you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I can only recommend playing it just to see what a very knowledgeable mind can come up with. And a very cruel mind, I might add.
So, AA, do you have anything else you'd like to say to anybody who, wants to get into Keysanity or Entrance or anything like that?
I mean, really, I just have to recommend not being worried. Like, you see these complicated, horrible things happen, and they're kind of intimidating. But there's two upsides to just trying it. For one, I think most people have the potential to be better than they imagine they can be. So if they just try stuff and really give it a fair chance, they'll discover they're able to handle it. And then the other side is, when you really try these more difficult modes, you'd be amazed at just how much easier, like, standard and open seems. So it can really help your game overall, I think.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah,
All right.
I was just going to say that I can completely agree with that, and that I don't think anyone should be intimidated or shy away from trying anything. You don't have to immediately race it or anything. Just generate yourself a seed, play it casually by yourself, check everything out, try to learn from it, and you'll see it's not as intimidating as it seems at first.
Indeed. So, right now, speaking of racing, we've got 2 main tournament races going on between Pryor and JSR and Christos Owen and Zatox. All of these at the same time over on Speed Gaming. So if you're not done with Rando for today, we've got some more to watch, and I'm sure that'll be entertaining and important for the tournament. I believe they're doing back-to-back races for both groups, so that's going to be interesting.
So.
All right. So with all that being said, thank you all once again for watching. Thank you to our runners, AA, ProblemsIRL, Fred Coughlin, and Sin, for giving us their time and their showmanship to show off this Keysanity mode.
It was fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can really only repeat that. Thanks a lot for the amazing race, especially with the sheer amount of required double dips this one had.
Yeah. Also, thank you to our trackers. We didn't give them near enough love during the race. We have Dustin and MathGirl718 putting the tracker together. That's a difficult job for a 4-person race, and especially for Keysanity, because it gets a little confusing.
Yep, these guys did an amazing job. Thanks for tracking for us, keeping everything in order. Of course, I also want to thank Fiesel and all the behind-the-scenes crew at Speed Gaming for the restream, and I, of course, also want to thank Dr. Boktastic here for commentating with me. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and of course, Herfy Durfy, you're a consummate professional,
Oh my.
a gentleman and a scholar, and probably know more about this than I do. So,
yeah, we'll see about that.
all right. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching. If you want to support any of the people involved in this stream, giving them a follow is probably the easiest way to do that. So, thanks for that. And that's going to do it for us here on Speed Gaming 2. Once again, plenty of rando action going on throughout the day, so make sure to watch some of that as well. And with that being said, I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I've been Herfy Durfy, and I hope you guys have a great night.
See you later.